Trans. How you doing? Yes, it's been a little while. How have things been?
Things are good. Good.
Just
doing my convention thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Things.
Yeah. Lots of conferences. So you have a couple different companies, right?
Yeah,
so,
5 of them.
Yeah, you got BWS, right?
Yep.
And we just talked to Craig here.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have Flo Trans,
BNC, which is the e-commerce
right?
Food grade warehousing.
Yeah,
for Walmart,
yeah.
Shopify, a TMS, Future Trans,
Okay.
which is a TMS for LTL, freight,
Yeah.
and then Truckers, which is a driver leasing company. So.
Definitely, yeah. So tell us a little bit about kind of your background and how you got into all this stuff. I mean, in the 5 companies now, all in the kind of transportation warehouse sector.
Yeah, I started 24 years ago. 24 years ago, Flo Trans. I was a salesman in the transportation space, and kind of felt my boss was kind of an idiot at the time, and I could do things better. I had a customer that said they would help me out and get me going, and kind of started that. And then through the years, as I got good and learned and went through the ups and the downs of transportation, I started getting better at hiring better people, smarter people than me, and kind of then found new people to come along and started new companies and just kept going. So
nice.
Now I'm just the conference guru. This is my 22nd conference this year. So
this year?
This
wow,
year. I have
that's
7
insane.
more.
So tell us a little bit about, because one question that I'm asked all the time, and asked this somebody earlier too, is like, what trade shows should I go to? Which are the ones? So you've been to 22 this year. So tell us, like, for warehousing, transportation, I mean, what's the best?
So I think this is one of my favorites, CSCMP. It's always a rock star. I think the new up and comer and coming in the years to come is Manifest. Manifest it was hot this year in Vegas, and I think it's going to even be. They're expecting over like 5,000 people, I think, this year in Vegas.
Yeah, I know.
And it was a big crowd last year. Too. So
yeah.
So I think that's definitely one of them. Food shippers, because of my background, is always really nice. It's just a harder one for new people to get to. So it's not always the first one I recommend to people. But yeah, and then any of the IWA events, they're all great. Jay runs a great program there for educational as well as meeting people. I think those are probably some of my favorites.
Okay, definitely. We'll definitely take that into account. We're working on trying to put something together with all the trade shows so people can easily kind of digest and find like what's the right fit for them. So definitely appreciate that feedback. But tell us a little bit about what's going on in kind of the trucking and warehousing market right now.
Well, the warehousing market's been absolutely bonkers the last 2 years.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of space out there, and demand is still fairly high that we're seeing, at least. I don't know if that's going to slow down anytime soon, because inventory just went crazy. There was so much product. People are scared through COVID not having product, and now I think they have stuff for years to come. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what we're seeing on the warehousing side. Trucking side, it's getting interesting. Transportation was always behind on the tech side of things. And I feel like in COVID, finally, transportation is starting to catch up. You're seeing a lot of cool stuff in the EV space, and even the autonomous vehicles and things like that. It's really getting the technology's catching up, with tracking and everything. So I think it's good for the industry, and I think it's in a couple more years, it's only going to get better. And as it keeps exploring and doing what it's doing.
Yeah. So I mean, on that side, I mean, what kind of technology really stands out to you as something that's kind of like probably the next big thing, or the most? Because I think if I think about all the technology that's in the space, right? There's a lot of stuff maybe that's kind of way up here, like ideas, right? But I mean, what do you think is really gonna hit next, and is gonna be like being these practical solutions and really coming into play and making a difference?
Yeah, I think the AI is a big thing. I mean, I really think it's gonna help with some of the back end data analytics that a human can't do at the speed it's gonna do, or catching things. Simple mistakes that can maybe be caught because maybe there's a PO number that didn't get entered into your, TMS system, or, something got left off, and it's stopping supply chain from doing what it needs to do.
Right.
You don't want trucks held up at warehouses. You don't want, simple mistakes that can, it's a rounding error in accounting. I think the AI is definitely where the future is going to go, and you're going to see more cooler stuff. The robots have been here now, which is cool on the warehousing side. That's a super cool thing, saving a lot of money on that side of things. But I do think AI is definitely the future in our side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's pretty interesting because, it is like that, you look at, I think like the typical warehouse manager or the warehouse supervisor, right, that maybe doesn't have a fully analytical background in a sense, right? And that's kind of where I think AI is going to make a big impact. It's going to enable them to be able to do more individually, right? Instead of having to, now call back to like a data team or an analyst or something. It's going to be able to make decisions faster, which I think is, much needed in our industry, right? You have to make decisions quickly. So it's really interesting to get that insight from you too as well. But tell us a little bit about kind of what's going on with some of your companies now. I mean, what kind of technology are you guys investing in or looking at as
yeah,
potential?
so on the BWS side, we use Turvo, and it's really happy with their system. We also use Parade and Four Kites and some of the other, macro points, some of the other technologies that are out there, which have made life easier in a lot of ways, right? There's some newer ones we're exploring. Highway right now is one we're really considering to add into it. It's cool that they have these, right? 10 years ago, you didn't have all this kind of cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was, I'm not saying T-cards and old school, trucking, but it's made life in our space a lot easier, I believe. So those are some of the ones I think that are the bigger ones that are out there playing this week. Obviously, DAT is always going to be there. I'm actually going to their conference next week in Houston. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be number 23.
That'll be the 23rd one, yep.
There you go. All right, very interesting stuff. And I'm curious, I mean, on the fulfillment side, right, because you have a fulfillment business too as well. What are you seeing from brands right now in terms of like what are their expectations going into peak season? What are their expectations in general? Because I think there's been a lot of kind of in the market uncertainty a little bit as like we've coming out of the pandemic and as e-commerce slowing down or is it staying the same? I mean, what are you guys seeing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we're working towards is more of a partnership with our brands that we do business with. Instead of it being a vendor and a customer, it is a true partnership as we are trying to help market them as well as they're marketing us, as well as their product coming up with ideas for them that maybe they're not thinking about because we have the expertise on the warehousing and e-commerce side. So we can offer them ideas to help, hey, this 4-pack, really, you should try to go to a 6-pack. It can work in this carton better. And you can get a better return on your, or hey, you're shipping this product and it's coming back every 5th order is coming back as a return because something got damaged by the post office or something. And so I think we're working more as that synergies together, and they're asking more from us. They really want to know. Where before, years ago, it was always, we're separated, not working together like it is today, collaboratively.
Yeah, I think that's so much better too because then you get, from a brand perspective, you get like all those insights that maybe you're not familiar with or you wouldn't know because maybe your expertise is like on the marketing side. It's not really on the supply chain or logistics side. So getting those insights, I mean, I think makes a huge difference. So I mean, as you're engaging with brands and things like that, I mean, what are they looking for in terms of like maybe delivery speeds? I mean, what are their consumers kind of demanding from like a fulfillment perspective?
Yeah, they're looking for as fast as they can get it to their clients. I don't think we're at the the Amazon level of speed where you can get something delivered at 4 a.m. or 9 o'clock at night to your house. But it's pretty much a next day, second day process. And there's customers, some of them that want to pay that UPS FedEx overnight, and there's some that want to use, let's say a standard post office and just ship it as the best cost effective way I can. So it's still a mix out there. We're getting a lot. I feel like the Amazons are shrinking some of their blueprints, which is pushing more into the general warehouses. So we're picking up more business that way. Where, hey, I got 40 pallets and Amazon only take 5 of them, so I need to store the other 35 somewhere else. We're picking that product up and storing it for them to help them, and then they're moving it to Amazon or wherever they need to do, when it's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So really interesting insights from you, definitely. And it's great that you have your kind of fingers in the pot of so many different arenas within our space. And it's great to get those insights from you and really kind of learn from you too. And I definitely appreciate the support of our podcast and, going, helping us get our stuff over to Manifest. So we'll definitely see you guys there and get you on the podcast then too. But if people want to learn more about your multiple companies, what's the best way to do that?
You can find me on LinkedIn, which I always accept everybody. But I think you can check out the websites, flotrans.com, BWS Logistics, BNC Logistics. We have some pretty cool videos on there that show some of the things we do. Great people. I got to give a shout out to Rob Bussey. Yes, he's the reason why I'm on the show more than I think he was on the reason 4 years ago. I think when I first went on your show.
Recently on our video series too, 2 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah,
so I want to give him a shout out for sure.
Yes, shout out Rob. We love Rob definitely. So CJ, it's great to see you. Yes. Great to connect, and thanks for coming by the booth and talking to us.